Hi, this is Tanya from Love Buddha Tarot, back with the Gemini reading. Gemini full moon reading, not just the Gemini reading. So I'm going to give it a couple of seconds and see if anybody comes on. It's weird, I haven't done these for a while, so it's I don't know, somebody said that they weren't getting notifications last time that I done one, so I'm just going to go ahead and carry on anyway. Yeah, there's people coming in there. Hi Deb, hi Marianne, hi April. Yeah, did you all get notifications? Yeah, hi Therese, because there's been a few people saying that on the last one they didn't actually get a notification saying that I was live. You got one. Oh, thank you, Gina. Oh, that's cool. Yay, there's people coming in. So how's everybody doing? Are you starting to feel the full moon energy yet? It's I have absolutely amazingly. It's really, really strong. How's my new place? Absolutely. I love it, Marianne. I love it. And that much so that I'm becoming a little bit of a hermit. I'm not wanting to go outside. I've got every solitary thing that I need here. And it's like I say, it's like my little haven here. Yeah, and this year has been hell. It has, but there's always a reason for that, and we have been put through the ringer. I think a lot of people of a sort of spiritual mindset as well, it's kind of hit us pretty hard. Just as I was sitting today, because like I say, I'm just, I am getting very in hermit mode, but I'm enjoying it. There's nothing wrong with that, so it's almost like hibernating. And I started to get messages through about this Gemini full moon. So I thought, all right, okay. I'm just looking because I was writing them on my phone as I was there. Gemini needs progress, white knuckle year, definitely. Oh, thank you for that, Edwina. It's nice to be back here as well. Yeah. Thank you. If you keep hearing chickens as well, we have a rooster. Well, I have a rooster right outside of my window, and there was just a little chicken fight there before I started, which is really funny. I love them. They're just so bizarre to watch. Oh, thank you for your appreciation, Marianne. The rooster. Yeah. So, so what I was picking up, I mean, obviously I'm not an astrologer and I don't work on, astrological things. But it's like I use Danielle for that. She always keeps me right on things, but I just pick up the messages that I'm getting. And what I was getting with this, I mean, Gemini, it's the twins, isn't it? And it's the two sides of us. And I think the duality, and I mean, excuse me, I'm writing these because I did write notes on my phone today. So what they're saying is that we are really going to be tested. I feel, yeah, again. So we're really going to be tested. But this is really going to be a breakthrough for us. I mean, things are happening rapidly. I don't know if anybody is feeling the speed at which things are happening, the way we are processing stuff, the lessons that are coming for us. Everything seems very fast paced at the moment. And this was what I was getting off Spirit a couple of years ago. They were saying 2018 is going to be a tough year, but it was going to be a very breakthrough year for us. So, but sometimes, a breakthrough comes when we have a breakdown. And I feel we've all been hit very hard from all sides as well this year. There's been some amazing times, some massive highs, but some massive lows as well. And this is because we're ascending, we're going up vibrationally. And this is why it's things get more intense. So there is an intensity, and especially towards, we're coming up to the end of this year. So, there's still work to do. It's almost like, when you cram in that Christmas shopping on Christmas Eve kind of thing. And this is what I feel is happening to us. Okay. So yes, it's going to be tough, but it's also going to be massively worth it. I mean, or the ones that are saying that they've had a tough time this year, if we think about where we were, say, 5 years ago, where we were 10 years ago, where we were 15 years ago, and look at what we've endured in that time, okay? then what we can do is actually be proud, and we can see how it's working for us. We can see how we're stronger. We can see how we have more clarity. We can see how we understand things so much more. So it hasn't all been in vain, you know. And yet the divine feminine balancing her masculine. There's a lot of this going on now. I don't like to do readings about divine feminine, divine masculine, but at the moment I can't help it because it is coming in so strongly. And it's all those, I got it this morning. I was in the shower and I was getting mental because they were saying it's mental, you know. But what they were saying to me is, because there's a lot of mental stuff going on with this Gemini. And when I say mental, I don't mean crazy. I mean, you know, this is a lot of stuff we're sorting out in our head, if this is making sense. And the mental, they said to me, is mental. So it's now that the masculine is having to find their voice, or they're being called to find their voice, okay? So this is also the masculine within us, but also the masculine sort of on this earth plane. And for us to embrace our feminine side, you know, a lot of times we think to be a strong woman, we have to, you know, be standing out there on the picket lines and, you know, and no man needs to do this for me. I can do it by myself. And yeah, we've fought long and hard to have that right. But by stepping into our feminine role, you know, this is when we can actually gain strength. This allows the masculine to step into their role as well, and it allows them to be strengthened. So there's, can you see how that's kind of working? We've kind of detoured off our path in this fight for being strong, whereas really, you know, we need to go back to that nurturing, to that caring as well. You know, we can still have the high paid jobs, you know, we can still open the door ourselves, but sometimes it's nice to let somebody do that for us. So this is it, you know, we can heal. You know, it's always been, you think women were the creators of the world, women were the healers, women were the nurturers, you know, women were the mothers. And, you know, this is when we need to step into that role, you know. And this is what, you know, they say behind every good man is a good woman, you know, and this is what we're being called to do. And this is where we're showing our strength, not just for the masculine, but for the world and for ourselves, if that makes sense. So I hope it does. Sorry, I didn't think I was going to go off on that one. But yeah, so like I say, we're talking about that this is where we're needing clarity, okay? This is where this Gemini moon is, full moon, is going to sort of press our buttons. It's going to give us questions, okay? So be prepared for that. But think deep and hard about the answers that you give yourself. No, it's not just quick off the, you know, whatever comes to you. It's really think about these. I read a thing yesterday which really blew my mind. And it was saying that, you know, the I that I think I am is just my perception of myself. Yet every single one of you will have a different perception of who I am. My parents will, you know, my child will, my friends will. I'm a different person to everybody. And that really, really messed with my brain. I hardly slept last night thinking about it. And this is what, as well, I think we're being called to do. We're being called to look on what we put out to the world, look on what mask we wear, look on what role we play as well. Because a lot of times we are conditioned and we do what we think we ought to. You know, all of us want love, all of us want approval, all of us want recognition. Even, you know, punks and anarchists and stuff like that, they're looking for it in some way, you know, by kicking back against it. So that is the wake-up call. So yeah, so this is, you know, we're all wanting that. We're all wanting recognition. And sometimes we do what we think we ought to, or what other people want us to do, in order to feel that we belong, or in order to feel worthy as well. So this is what we're being called to ask as well. Who are we really? You know, who are we really? You know, and really take time to think about it. You know, like I could say, oh, I'm a tarot reader, I'm a mother, I'm all of that. But none of that is Tanya. None of that is the real Tanya, you know. So I need to ask, who am I? You know, what I need to ask myself the question. And I think this is what we all need to do. Now, the questions that came up, well, whether the words that came up from spirit when I was sitting before about this Gemini moon, they were saying, you know, if we're looking, you know, there's a lot of us in turmoil. There's a lot of us in pain at the moment as well. Today I had a friend staying for a couple of days and they've just left. And today I've cried quite a lot, not because I'm sad. I'm crying for other people. There's a great old guy, Harry Leslie. Is it Harry Leslie? Yes, sorry, I can't even remember his proper name. And he's an old guy that was a veteran in the UK, and he's on Twitter all the time. He's 95 and he's great, and he's really got his voice and he's using it. And he's very ill at the moment, you know, and it's, you know, he's 95. His time is coming to an end. But I cried because of the impact he'd made on people. You know, I was reading tweets that people were tweeting to him and to his son, and you know, it really made me cry. This guy has made a difference. He's made a change, you know, and he's made that change because he didn't want to see other people suffer in the way he did. And then I had a bit of time on my hands and I watched the documentary about Whitney Houston. And that, again, was so sad. You know, it was really, really sad. It was, you know, this is somebody who on the outside has everything, you know, money, fame, wealth, you know, husband, child, you know, all of this. Yet that person was deeply, deeply unhappy, deeply crying out for love and trying to look in the wrong places for it, you know. And I sat and sobbed watching it because somebody like that, you know, it's almost like she had everything, yet she had nothing. You know, she was very poor in a lot of ways. So this is what I'm saying, this Gemini moon, it's making us look at the world, look at ourselves, you know, look at who we are, look at what is really going on with our life without just going along the conditioning. So what I got here is, you know, people that are struggling, you know, what they need to ask themselves is, are you depressed, or is your soul crying out for a deep rest? Okay. Are you tired of playing the game now? You know, is that what it is, you know, rather than actual physical depression where, you know, you're lacking a certain hormone within your brain? You know, are you depressed, or are you simply repressed? Are you living a life that you know isn't what you were born to do, but you're doing it because of this conditioning, and this is how we're supposed to do it? They said to me as well, we need to ask, are we lost, or are we just choosing the wrong places or people to look for direction in? You know, because that is it. You know, we're never truly lost. A lot of times we don't know where we're going. But sometimes if we've got somebody giving us the wrong signals all the time, or the wrong, you know, telling us the wrong directions, then that can cause us to be more lost. It's not what we're doing. It's we're asking somebody that we think knows best, and then they don't have that knowledge. So this is about where we go inward with in our internal compass. Yeah, and compass and conflict, they said there as well. So, you know, this is the conflict and the Gemini here. What they're saying there, are you unhappy, or are you in an unhappy environment? So these, can you see where I'm going with this, or where they're going with this? You know, it's all these are deep, deep questions, but they're very, very simple. And they're saying, how many times are we functioning on automatic rather than actually choosing every day to, right, I'm going to live? You know, how often do the alarm goes off, it goes off at the same time. We lie in bed for a couple of minutes, we get up, we go, we have our coffee in the same place, we go about, and it's almost like we're doing it robotic. You know, we're not choosing every morning to say, you know what, I'm choosing to get up at this time. I'm choosing to drink my coffee in there. You know, it's almost like automatic, because that's what we've always done. And this Gemini moon is coming to wake us up to say, if you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always got. And this is it, because there is a massive transformation. There is a massive opportunity for transformation to come through at this moment, you know, and especially before the end of the year. But it's, are we going to wake up like the rooster there? Are we going to do that, or are we going to carry on this treadmill as well? So this is it. And it's saying here, we also need to look at our stories. And the story we tell somebody, it's almost like, oh yeah, I can't do that, and it's, why can't you do that? Maybe because you were told when you were young that you couldn't do that, or you were told that that wasn't good. I remember when my daughter first went to study art, and my grandfather said, but why is she doing art? Why doesn't she do history or something? Why does she want to do art? And I said, you know what, Granddad? I said, she will change the world slightly, in a tiny, tiny way, by creating something that didn't exist before she done it. And that has my full backing. Yet because he had lived in these old times, like this poor, war veteran, it wasn't about enjoyment. It wasn't about taking every single moment. It wasn't about anything like that. It was about doing your duty and being a good citizen as well. Thank you so much for that, Haley. Thank you. So this is it, Now what we're going to do, and what these questions that were telling me as well, is we need to look at the stories we're replaying, okay? And it's, is it, my dad left when I was a child, so this is why I can't have relationships? Is it, I had a terrible relationship with my mother, so I can't do that? Bad things happened in the past. I'm not dismissing that in any way. But to live in that story is allowing that to still define our life. And this is what this Gemini moon is saying. There's the two sides of us. There's our soul and there's our ego. Our ego will see us as the victim that this has happened to. Our soul is saying, you know what, that happened to us because we had to experience, and we had to learn from that experience, and we had to move on. So it's, which side do you kind of go with, and this is where there is going to be the split, and this is where there is going to be the struggle over this Gemini moon, I feel. But this struggle is worth it because it's breaking us out of our old stories. It's changing, it's rewriting it, it's rewriting our history. It's us saying, you know what, I'm taking control of this pen. This is my story, and I am going to say how it's going to pan out. I'm not going to let that be dictated by anybody else. So like I say, this is a heavy, heavy mood. Sorry, I wasn't expecting this when I came on. And what they're saying is this Gemini moon is really going to awaken our inner healer, like our inner warrior. We can all heal ourselves. We cannot look for somebody else to heal us. We can go to healers or whatever like that, but we must, they can show us the way. They are like guides. We must go internal in order to heal. And this is our inner healer waking up, our inner warrior, to say, look, this is it. You can rewrite your own story. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do or what you are or anything like that. You decide. This is your choice, okay? And they're saying here, what could happen to a lot of us as well. Sorry, I'm not reading the things. I will read them in a bit.